Tennessee is a top 5 target when it comes to scam calls and text messages in the entire country.
He overheard and said, "Sir, you're getting scammed."
Well, the woman accused of trying to sell Tennessee's most famous home appeared in federal court today. 53-year-old Lisa Finley faces multiple charges in the alleged scheme to scam millions from Elvis Presley's family and steal Graceland. Well, the Department of Justice says Finley assumed multiple identities to falsely accuse Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, of borrowing millions of dollars from a fake private lender using Graceland as collateral and then failing to repay the debt. Well, officials say Finley fabricated loan documents, filed a false creditor's claim and a fake deed of trust, and submitted several false court filings. Well, during today's hearing, her defense requested more time to go over the evidence. Now, if convicted, Finley faces a mandatory 2 years in prison for aggravated identity theft and a maximum of 20 years in prison for mail fraud. However, we've learned a proposed plea deal is now on the table. Finley is due back in court in April.
New information from the Attorney General's office when it comes to toll scams. They say these scams have cost Tennesseans $190 million last year alone, and a third of those losses come from seniors. Here are some examples of those fake text messages you're seeing on the screen. The Federal Trade Commission says if you get one of these texts, do not click the link. Remember, there are no toll roads in Tennessee right now.
Tonight, an urgent new warning about a scam sweeping Middle Tennessee. One police department says they have seen an uptick in text messages claiming people have unpaid toll charges.
Investigators say criminals do it to get into your bank account. News 2's Sarah Smith spoke with Hendersonville police about the increase they've noticed.
You've probably received a text message like this one claiming you owe money to a toll authority.
I think everybody I know has gotten at least one.
Hendersonville police detectives say it's likely a scam and criminals just waiting for you to take the bait.
It's a full-time job for some of these people.
Investigators say most of these scams are coming from overseas. Agencies work together to solve these cases.
They probably send out close to 2,000 text messages a day to random phone numbers, and it's a phishing expedition where they're just waiting for that 1 out of 2,000 people to respond.
If you get one of these messages, police say don't click on the link or accept a one-time code. That could give someone access to your bank account.
As soon as you click that link or you pay that fine, whatever they're telling you that it is, all of your information is getting hacked some sort of way.
They say be on the lookout for red flags and trust your instinct.
Most of the time you can see that there's misspelling, threats, something along those lines that'll tell you kind of hinting that it is fraud.
Another thing of note, Tennessee doesn't have toll roads.
Tennessee currently doesn't have any toll roads. I know we have choice roads, but there's nothing currently in Tennessee that is charging you the way that these text messages are coming through.
This scam is going on across the country, so even if you're driving in a state with tolls and you get a text like this, law enforcement says check with them first to make sure it's legitimate. Bob and Haley.
Tennesseans lost $23 million to investment scams during the first quarter of 2025. That's according to the Federal Trade Commission. Welcome back to News 2 at 4. I'm Haley Wilkes. It's a trend that the Better Business Bureau of Middle Tennessee says increased drastically over the last year. News 2's Kendall Ashman has that story.
She believed she was sending the money to her fiancé.
From imposter scams to romance scams, they are commonly known.
Folks are still looking for love in all the wrong places.
But scammers are finding new ways to access your wallet.
Investment scams, and specific to cryptocurrency scams, have really grown dramatically over the last 12 months.
President and CEO of BBB of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, Robin Householder, says while older adults are more likely to fall victim to scams, she says they're seeing more younger adults fall victim to investment scams.
And they have a little less to invest, so they're not going to lose as much money, but they lose more often.
She says people who are contacted by a scammer are often lured in with this.
It's always the promise of a quick return. Low investment, a couple $1,000s, and, promising big returns on that investment.
According to fraud reports by the Federal Trade Commission, Tennessee lost over $23 million in investment scams in the first quarter of 2025.
Unfortunately, not enough people know how it works, and so they're investing in schemes with fraudsters. The average loss is about $5,000.
She says while folks most likely won't get their money back, it's important to report the BBB to help make sure others don't fall victim.
It's not just shared with us, but it's shared not only throughout the country with other BBBs, but also other government agencies like the Attorney General's office, the Federal Trade Commission, so that they can hopefully continue to work on putting a stop to some of this craziness.
In Nashville, Kendall Ashman, News 2.
Tennessee's bail bond industry is strictly regulated. All agents are licensed and insured.
But scammers are posing as legitimate agents and cheating people out of thousands of dollars. Reporter Don Dare spoke with 2 actual bail bonds agents and explains how the scam works.
What county?
Brandy Covington is a bail bond agent. She gets calls from men and women in jail who have seen a magistrate and a bond has been set. In cases where a defendant can be bonded out, the release is contingent upon paying a specific amount of cash to the bail bond agency.
What jail are you in?
Brandy's co-worker, Gloria Presley, another bail bond agent, says once contacted, she gathers the person's name, date of birth, and charges, and then gives the inmate information regarding what needs to be done to make bond. Finally, agents will then get a call from the inmate's family member or a friend.
Most of the time someone has to co-sign a bond. We go to the jail, do an interview with the person in jail, take some general information, turn the bond in.
Bond payments can be made electronically through Cash App, Chime, a credit card, or cash. Scammers, however, are taking advantage of public information available on Sheriff's Department websites in East Tennessee.
This is a gentleman that's in Knox County Jail.
Matthew Gladfelder's father was scammed after receiving a call from a man named Eddie, claiming he was with a local bail bond company.
And that the bond's going to be $1,000. So the dad paid him on a card $1,000, but it is still to be set. So there was no bonds made yet.
But Matthew had not seen a magistrate yet, which is when the bond is set. His father then got in touch with A1 Bonding, where Gloria and Brandy work.
So I made a call to the telephone number that was gave to me. And I told him I had a brother. His name was William Bell. Made up a birthday on him.
Gloria says the scammer, Eddie, then gave her false information.
He said it was preset and it was going to be a $5,500 bond. So all I had to do is pay $550 to him.
Eddie texted saying he takes payment electronically only. Oh, and sorry, he couldn't meet up at the jail.
These gentlemen, they don't want to meet you. So you need to meet somebody and make sure.
That's the key there.
Yes.
They won't meet you.
No.
But you, on the other hand, would meet them or
Yes.
someone at this office.
Absolutely. Yes. We would meet them at the jail or this office.
That was Don Dare reporting from Knoxville. There are plenty of red flags to look out for regarding this scam, including any illegal solicitation. Bail bond agents are not allowed to solicit services by law. If they don't require any paperwork or they're offering steep discounts, you should also be wary. Legit bail bonds have to be secured with a contract, and legal companies charge fixed fees for their services.
A new text scam about traffic tickets is tricking some Tennesseans. The scam tells people they have an outstanding ticket, and if they don't pay, their driving privileges will be revoked. Here's a warning from state leaders. It's a text that comes with a threat. The Tennessee Highway Patrol warning people to pump the brakes before they pay that traffic ticket.
Unfortunately, there's another scam that's hitting Tennesseans.
The text says you have an outstanding traffic ticket, and if you don't pay it, you'll be reported, have your driving privileges revoked, and be sued, prompting you to click on a link that looks similar to the real Tennessee Department of Safety homepage to send your payment.
The scammers are getting very creative. They understand that the more that they can counterfeit their websites and their links to look like the official sites, the more that they're going to trick individuals and separate them from their money.
You might have already gotten the text yourself. It's been sent to people across Tennessee, even the president and CEO of the BBB of Middle Tennessee.
I personally have received over 4 in 24 hours.
There are a few telltale signs this text is a trap, starting with the fact that it says it's from the Department of Motor Vehicles, which isn't an agency in Tennessee. The BBB says also pay attention to how things are worded.
Scammers are notorious for spelling things incorrectly or just using really poor grammar. grammar or only capturing a portion of a company name. So we like to refer to that as scammer grammar.
Plus, government agencies will never text you, especially not in an aggressive tone.
Government agencies are not going to lead with threatening you. They're not going to lead with harassing language that creates a space where you think you have to act now. That's never going to be the case with a legitimate agency.
If you get this text, the BBB says tap the delete button and report as junk option on your phone. You can also report it to the BBB. We've posted all the information on WKRN.com.
Scammers are using inmates at the Sumner County Jail to make a profit.
It's a new twist on the so-called grandparent scam because it has an element of truth. News 2's Sam Clementi spoke with one victim about what happened to them. Sam.
Yeah, that's right, guys. The catch to this scam is that the victims actually do have a loved one who was or is detained at the Sumner County Jail. Those behind this scam appear to be using public records of who's been arrested to manipulate family members for money.
They're very sophisticated. They knew everything about this person's case.
Last week, the gentleman you just heard, who asked not to show his face or use his real voice, paid over $5,000 to help bail a relative out of jail. At least, that's what he thought. The man's relative had just been arrested for speeding and DUI. He was already aware of the arrest when a family member received a call from a Tennessee number claiming to be Lieutenant Rawlings with the Sheriff's Records Department.
And they said the bail has been lowered, and said the way to take care of that is take this amount of money and go to a kiosk, which sounded strange, but that time you're upset, you don't know what's going on.
After his first deposit, the man says he continued to receive calls, asking for more payments to cover costs like his relative's ankle monitor and car impound fee. Several withdrawals later, it was a teller at the man's bank who realized what was happening.
He overheard and said, "Sir, you're getting scammed." The manager at the bank called the Sumner County Sheriff. The sheriff said, in the first place, that's not the way we collect money. Second place, there's no such person.
The man says he feels rage and embarrassment after falling for this scam. But he's not the only one that's been a victim in Sumner County.
The officer from Sumner County Sheriff's Department came out here, said he's working a couple of other cases just like this. They just didn't get as much money.
The man said he called the number back after learning he was being scammed, and the person actually answered again as Lieutenant Rawlings. The man said the scammer still insisted he was with the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office, the real one, was unable to speak with me about this scam today, but they did confirm that they've taken reports on this scam in recent weeks. Their advice was what the man echoed to me over the phone. Always verify that the person calling you is who they say they are. Guys.
Yeah, good reminder, Sam. Thanks so much.
Brentwood police take down 2 Chinese nationals accused of scamming a Williamson County man out of more than $500,000. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 6. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. News 2's Andy Cordan takes us inside this elaborate operation in a story you're seeing first on 2.
This crime begins on April 30th. That's when scammers contact a Brentwood man, ultimately stealing some $650,000 worth of gold. Did they just pick this guy out of a hat and then they just gave him the spiel and he sort of started to fall for it?
Yeah, so it originates spam phone calls, just like we all get. He picks up the phone. They identify themselves as an FBI agent.
According to police, the scammers tell an elaborate tale, telling the victim his identity has been stolen by the cartel and his bank accounts are being frozen. So he has to liquidate his assets into gold bars, which will then be picked up by Treasury agents for safekeeping.
It's extremely elaborate, and not only are there phone calls, there's faxes, there's all kinds of documents coming in. They were presenting him with a fake investigation, all on letterhead from the FBI, Treasury Department.
According to Brentwood police, these Chinese nationals are arrested while attempting to scam the Brentwood man a third time, instructing him to take out a loan on his property. But by now, Brentwood police are involved.
This victim was told, do not share what's going on with your family. Law enforcement is never going to tell you not to talk to your wife about something like this that's going on.
And on July 8th, Brentwood police and federal agents swoop in, arresting the 2 low-level couriers, both of whom are Chinese nationals. According to police, one of the men entered the country illegally. The other man overstayed a student visa.
Yeah, we just know one was a catch and release. He has an ICE detainer on him.
According to police, the victim did not recover his stolen $650,000. The 2 suspects are currently in the Williamson County Jail, and they are being closely looked at by federal agents, including ICE. In Brentwood, Andy Cordan, News 2.
Now, this fraud is commonly known as the gold bar scam, and it's happening across the U.S. Remember, no legitimate government agency or law enforcement group will ever come to your home and pick up gold or cash. If you have any doubts at all, call someone you trust or your local police department.
In tracking crime in Murfreesboro, police are sending out a new warning after a scammer posing as a federal agent manages to steal thousands from one woman. Police say the scammers pretended to be agents from the FTC and the Department of Treasury. They fooled an elderly woman into handing over $55,000 in cash and then tried to steal an additional $38,000 from her. Police worked with the victim that tricked the suspect, arresting him when he arrived at the woman's home. Officials have also confirmed the man was in the country illegally. The Department of Homeland Security placed him in ICE detention.
Tennessee is a top 5 target when it comes to scam calls and text messages in the entire country. Jaxie Pigeon joins us in studio with advice from experts, Jaxie, on how you could avoid becoming a victim.
Well, Mark, according to Truecaller, here in Tennessee, they receive over 96 million spam calls and more than 6 million spam messages every month. The company says new scams come out all the time, but currently job recruitment and natural disaster relief scams are very popular. A 15-year scam call industry veteran and expert from Truecaller explains it's become increasingly easier to fall victim because of the amount of information we share on social media and help by AI, which can enable messaging to target people.
I know your alma mater, I know what kind of car you drive, all the types of things. And this has really opened the gates for not just nuisance calls, but scams and fraud. And one of the reasons for that is that this device, we always have it and we react to everything that happens on it.
The Federal Trade Commission says the best ways to avoid a scam are by blocking unwanted calls and texts, resisting the pressure to act immediately, not giving personal or financial info in response to an unexpected request, and knowing how scammers ask you to pay. For example, never paying someone who insists that you can only pay with cryptocurrency or a wire transfer service. Truecaller advises that if you don't recognize a number, even if it has a local area code, to be cautious and say it's often safer not to answer. Nicole.
A driveway scam cost a Middle Tennessee couple tens of thousands of dollars.
They claim they were pressured into paying and did not ask for the work. The Better Business Bureau says a paving company claimed to have leftover materials and would only patch their driveway. When they finished, they had paved the entire driveway and demanded $64,000.
Fortunately, most scammers follow the seasons. So, for example, when it's rainy season, you're going to get roofing scams. Unfortunately, when it's hot outside, which is the best time to have your driveway redone, that's when they're going to come to town. I will tell you, one of the easiest ways to identify that they're a scammer is they probably have an out-of-state license plate. Okay. So hopefully if you can see that, you know this isn't someone you want to do business with.
The BBB advises to be skeptical of unsolicited offers. Get a contract in writing and never pay immediately if you can. And be sure to report suspected fraud at bbb.org.scammer.
Welcome back. Well, phishing scams are on the rise, and the Better Business Bureau is here to give us all the warning signs we need to look out for, especially heading into the holiday season. So Robin Householder is here this morning. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate you having me.
So how do you define a phishing scam? What exactly is it?
So basically, think of it just like you're throwing a pole into the water to catch a fish. Well, what the scammers are doing is they're throwing out a text, an email. They're hoping that you're going to click on a link or give them information that's going to benefit them, but sadly hurt you.
Right. And what are some of the most common tactics that you see to do this?
Yeah, so most often than not, they're going to mimic something that you're familiar with. Maybe it's going to be a local retailer, a national retailer, could be a government agency. They've even used Better Business Bureau as a name. And so if you get something from someone familiar, you're more likely to open it, you're more likely to click on the link, and that's what they're counting on.
Yeah, that text that we're showing on the screen there, I know I've received plenty that look just like that from all kinds of fake
and
businesses.
By the way, that hit my phone last week.
Really?
That's where that came from.
Oh.
And so, you know, they're using AI to just randomly call numbers, to randomly send emails. So don't take it personal. It really is little to do with you. They're just hoping that if they cast a wide enough net, just like a fisherman, a few people are going to unfortunately fall victim. And it, as you mentioned, it is the fastest growing scam that we're dealing with across the country.
And very costly as well. The median dollar loss is $1,100.
And it only continues to get bigger. So, you know, this was the 7th riskiest scam 2 years ago. This past year, it's the 6th, and we feel very confident, unfortunately, it's going to hit the top 5 this year.
So let's say, unfortunately, someone falls victim. What is the first step they need to take?
Well, first and foremost, if you've given anybody any private information or given them a credit card, notify your bank and freeze your credit report. That's going to help minimize the damage. Let us know, report it to bbb.org/scam tracker. That gets us the ability to then give it to all the agencies that potentially are going to help with this. Make sure that you change your passwords, because oftentimes when you click on one of these links, it's downloading malware. So immediately, not just your phone password, all of your banking, your credit card, any and all passwords that you're using, you're going to want to change them and make sure that you're using a password that's no less than 12 digits. So it's got to be lengthy. And then, of course, as I said, report it. But you know, you've heard me say this over and over again, the most effective way to protect yourself is time. Just don't allow yourself to be pressured or instantly respond to anything.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you share this information with partners. Do you work with law enforcement, with other tech companies?
Right. So actually, Scam Tracker has a system in place where anything that's entered today, it immediately gets uploaded to the Attorney General's office, the Federal Trade Commission, the FBI, all of those agencies from a governing perspective that can really do a lot of very effective work to seize this. And then, yes, we will work with local agencies, local tech companies to ensure that they're communicating what they need to with their customers on what those filters need to be and what those security features need to be.
And as we kind of close out this conversation, what is the one thing that you wish people knew about phishing scams?
Again, don't respond to anything that's unsolicited or from someone you personally don't know. If it looks like something that's interesting, go do some research. Check with us, see if it's legitimate. Go directly to that company's website, call that government agency, and chances are what you're going to find is that it's just all make-believe.
Got to do the research and then report it.
Awesome.
Yep. Well, thank you for being here and for sharing that. And we will post this on our website as well, WKRN.com.